Mars is a truly strange planet. It's the most explored planet outside of Earth and the one we humans have sent the most vehicles to. We have very high-resolution maps of almost the entire surface of Mars. For example, there's a 5.7 terapixel map where each pixel corresponds to about 5 meters of surface. This map covers 99% of the planet. However, that's not all there is to it. There are radar surveys from different orbits and in different bands, looking at a certain depth below the surface. There are images from the surface and various experiments conducted by Mars rovers, seismological studies, and much more. We know quite a bit about the red planet now. But as is often the case, the more information there is, the more mysteries there are. New, better data can sometimes help solve old mysteries. Remember the face on Mars seen in the Viking 1 images? It turned out to be just a mountain, and detailed MRO images showed that it was just a play of light and shadow from a certain angle. However, that doesn't mean there's nothing interesting on Mars. For example, there is a pentagonal pyramid, which, apparently, is also a natural geological formation. There are many more such examples. On the pictures you can see objects that resemble humanoids, doors, frogs, flowers, or corals. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. Mars is full of real oddities that don't disappear when you change perspective or lighting. Some of them affect a significant portion, if not the entire planet. Some of these oddities can be noticed even by untrained people who simply look at a global map of Mars or some images of the planet. Today, we will talk about a few of these features of the planet and the phenomena that run there. Some of them still remain without a clear explanation. The polar caps of Mars are made up mostly of water ice. They reach a thickness of a couple of kilometers. The peculiarity of the North Polar Cap is its unusual spiral structure. Scientists have long tried to solve the mystery of this spiral, and now there are already good versions. Water ice is exposed to catabolic winds and the Coriolis effect, which leads to the formation of spiral depressions. We see similar spiral structures at many different scales in the universe, such as hurricanes on Earth. 3 giant shield volcanoes on Mars, Mount Arsia, Mount Paul, and Mount Ascuria, are lined up almost along a straight line. They are also close in size and distance from each other. This order is a mystery to scientists, since the crust of Mars, unlike Earth, does not consist of separate lithospheric plates that move independently. It is probably a structural feature of the crust in this area, or some weakness in it. There are hypotheses that this alignment is due to a giant magma plume in the planet's interior. Mars has 2 different sides. The northern part of the planet is lower and has a smoother surface with fewer craters, while the southern part is higher, has a thicker crust, and is covered with craters. This phenomenon is explained by different hypotheses. Perhaps such a dichotomy was formed as a result of a giant impact or internal processes in the interior of the planet associated with convection. Some scientists believe that these processes may be interrelated. Mars has periodic global dust storms that cover the entire planet. Dust on Mars is not only an interesting, but also a very unpleasant phenomenon as it settles on the surface of scientific instruments, rendering them inoperable. Winds on Mars lift dust from the surface, creating dust towers several kilometers high. These storms can last for months and greatly complicate the work of the Mars rovers and orbiters. Studying these storms helps to better understand the atmospheric processes on Mars. Mars continues to be the object of close attention of scientists. Despite the huge amount of information obtained, the planet is still full of mysteries, each of which remains to be solved. Interest in the red planet is only growing, and future missions may be able to shed light on many questions that are still unanswered. We study Mars from different orbits and in different spectrums. Radar surveys allow us to look at a certain depth below the surface, images from the surface, and various experiments conducted by Mars rovers, as well as seismological studies. All in all, we know quite a bit about the red planet. But as is often the case in science, the more information we get, the more questions and mysteries we have. Remember the famous face on Mars captured by the Viking 1 lander? It turned out to be just a table mountain, which was confirmed by detailed images from the MRO. It was just a play of light and shadow at a certain viewing angle. Even so, there are still plenty of other curious objects to be found on Mars. For example, the Pentagonal Pyramid, which is most likely a natural geologic formation. There are many rocks and stones on Mars that, at a certain angle of view, resemble various objects, such as humanoids, doors, frogs, flowers, or coral. But let's move on to the real Martian oddities that don't disappear with a change of perspective or lighting. One of the most impressive features of the Martian landscape are its canyons and valleys. The most famous canyon on Mars is the Mariner Valley, a huge canyon system about 4,000 kilometers long, up to 200 kilometers wide, and up to 7 kilometers deep. This makes Mariner Valley one of the largest canyons in the solar system. Its causes remain a matter of debate among scientists. One hypothesis is tectonic activity that ripped the planet's crust, creating this giant crack. Other scientists speculate that water flows in the past may have played a role in the formation of this canyon. The question of whether there is water on Mars remains one of the most intriguing questions in the study of the planet. Today, Mars is a cold and dry planet, but numerous lines of evidence suggest that rivers flowed, and lakes and perhaps even oceans existed here in the past. Currently, water on Mars exists mostly in the form of ice, which can be found in the polar caps and below the surface in some regions. Recent research suggests that small amounts of liquid water may be present on the surface under certain conditions, such as saline solutions brines that have a lower freezing point. Mars also exhibits seasonal variations, such as dark lines on the slopes of craters that appear during the warm season and disappear during the cold season. These lines, called recurring slope liniae, RSL, may be associated with salt water flows, but the exact nature of this phenomenon remains unknown. The study of these lines may provide clues to understanding modern water processes on Mars. One of the main questions that scientists and the public are concerned about is the possibility of life on Mars. So far, no direct evidence has been found for the existence of life on Mars, but the planet has several conditions that could support microbial life. Some extremophiles on Earth are able to survive in conditions similar to Martian conditions, giving hope for the discovery of life in the past or even present on the red planet. Currently, Mars rovers and orbiters continue to search for organic molecules and other signs of life. Exploration of Mars continues with each passing year, and new missions are planned for the future to help unlock even more of the mysteries of this enigmatic planet. One of the top priorities is to return samples of Martian soil to Earth for detailed analysis. This could give us a more accurate picture of the geology and history of Mars. Plans to colonize Mars are also hotly debated. Companies like SpaceX are already developing technology that could allow humans to travel to Mars and establish a permanent settlement there. This would be a huge step forward in space exploration and could lead to dramatic changes in our understanding of the universe and our place in it. Mars is a planet that constantly surprises us with its complexity and mystery. Despite significant advances in its study, we are still at the beginning of the journey to fully understand this amazing planet. New discoveries and explorations will undoubtedly continue to expand our horizons and uncover new secrets about Mars, making it an even more interesting object for future generations of explorers. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about space and other interesting topics, subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put a like and click on the bell not to miss new releases. See you soon.